Hello, YouTube viewers. Jaylbayt here with another episode of Master of Orion. We're playing as the Klackon. When last we met, we had finished colonizing pretty much every planet we're going to colonize for the foreseeable future. Now we're just going to develop tall, which means we're going to develop all of our planets to become the best that they can be, including some of the newer planets, Alphar, Belugia, even Hyades once we get the the gravity generators to get that gravity debuff off finally, and Zoctan, and get them to the point where they can produce ships very quickly and very cheaply. Speaking of ships, we are one turn away from pretty much the last uh, ship upgrade that I want for our new ships, and so we are going to do a bit of ship design in this episode. Let's see here. Yep, we know that Belugia Prime has grown. Cool beans. 3 of 10, you can keep growing. We're cool there. Belugia 3 has grown quite a bit. They're growing pretty much once per turn. One per turn. Wow, that's good. So we're going to get their population way up. And then we'll throw some people down here on the production line. Alright. We'll go ahead and move our fleets. The only one I know of is this one out here that was going to Ravati to see if there was any pirate influences there. We're nearly done with our military outposts. And then we'll only have just the one more here in Nephthys. And then hopefully all these scouts will get out of our business. Let's go ahead and choose our next research. So ground battery is pretty cool. The automated repair unit can be very cool. But the Dauntless Guidance System is going to be very good for our missile ships. We're going to skip upgrading that. Let's go to the tech tree. And now what I want to do is I want to rush to these gravitic fields so that we can get these gravity generators. We've been holding off on it, trying to get some of the ship stuff done so that we don't have to worry about ships for the foreseeable future. In fact, it'll probably be quite a while before we get another ship upgrade. There's armor here. Fast missile racks is probably the next thing that we're going to care about. And then down here we'll get the heavy fighter base. So a lot of tech to get through before we get to our next upgrades for our ships. That could be cool, but after we get the gravity, we're probably going to focus on like Astra University and getting some of the things that get our research going quite a bit faster. Alright, so that is it for research. Let's get in and start doing some ship design. So we've got all these cool things. Now, we've got currently 40 command points. We'll probably have about, I want to say 30 by the time we actually build our fleets. And so what I was thinking of was making 2 15-point fleets. Now cruisers are 4 command points. Our destroyers are 2, and our ants are 1. So what I was thinking about is having a cruiser as kind of like the mother ship of the hive. 3 big beetles, which kind of act as the guardians of the queen, or the soldiers, if you will, and then 5 ants, which will serve primarily to act as point defense and deflect any incoming ordnance to the destroyers and the cruiser. Whereas the cruiser and the destroyer will just be full of tons of missiles. The ants may be equipped only with like point defense mass drivers. That's kind of the idea. And then of course our flies will still have bombs. So let's start with the big one. go ahead and edit you. I kind of like the spikiness of this. And then we'll give you a cool little thing there. Alright, let's just make sure that all of this is up to specs. So neutronium armor, ion drive, class 1 shields, and the electronic computer we don't actually care about. So we are going to want the reinforced hull. We're going to want battle pods. We're going to want the Dauntless guidance system. And then on these big guys, we could go with automated repair units. Or we could go with like ECM jammers. Or we could go with neither. They do take up quite a bit of space, and as you can see, the repair unit costs a lot of production. I'm going to leave this blank. Oops, no, nothing. While we could put in one of those two things, it's going to increase our cost quite a bit, and it's going to get out of there. Get out of there. Pulsar missiles is what we want. And it's going to decrease our space. So increase cost, decrease space. Whereas I think what we want is just to load this thing up with like crazy amount of missiles. So like, let's say 40 missiles. Yeah, okay, so we can get 40 missiles in, and then we'll throw in some anti-missile rockets. We can get 10 anti-missile rockets, and that makes it for a nice, balanced, I think, ship there. We don't really need the auto repair because I don't expect these things to take much damage. I expect them to annihilate the enemy from afar before lasers can come into even before lasers even have a chance to try and get within close and get at these guys. And any missiles and stuff our ants should take care of. So let's call this, let's see, we've got an ant, we've got a beetle. What else do we have? Let's call this the roach. Roaches can get big. And let's see, 5621, 562. It's got an average DPF of 100. It's very nice. A little bit of beam defense. No missile. It says no missile defense, but it has anti-missile rockets. I'm still not sure about anti-missile rockets, if they work or not. If we find that they don't, we'll replace those with some point defense mass drivers. Alright, so that's our roach. Next, let's take a look at our beetle. We're going to go ahead and upgrade this. We want the latest armor. And the thing is, it costs a little bit more for armor, but it doesn't actually take up any more space. Whereas in some of these things, like the shields, as we upgrade our shields, they actually get cheaper and smaller, which is very cool. Now, there's only 2 specials on this, so that will be battle pods and the Dauntless guidance system. So we won't have, these guys won't be as tanky as the Big Mama ship, but that's fine. Nope. We don't want any weapons. Yeah. So we're basically going to keep this same setup, but now that you see, first we're going to switch to pulsar missiles. And we have a lot more space to work with. So it had 10 before. Can we get to 15? We can. So we'll go 15 there, and then we'll add in some more anti-missile rockets. And that should be pretty good. 235 into 240. I'm not too worried about not using up every little inch of space. It'll keep cost down just a tad. But you can see we've got a pretty good DPS. So we've got 3-to-1 of these guys versus our big ship. So that's 135 DPS to its 100 for the 3 of them. Although, as far as command points go, for the same amount of command points, it is coming in slightly less. Although we could probably boost it up if we had less anti-missile rockets. But these guys are kind of going to be a bit of a missile defense for our mothership as well. And then last but not least, our little ants. Now these guys are going to undergo the most change because we are going to take off all semblance of missiles and give them mass drivers that are point defense. We do still want to make sure that they have the best armor, best drive, class 1 shield, electronic computer. Now the computer actually does matter. If we get upgraded computers in the future, we probably won't upgrade them if they cost more or whatever for our missile ships, but for these little guys using mass drivers, we will want them. Again, we'll go battle pods just because they're awesome. And since these guys are going to take a little bit of oomph, and they don't have the guidance system or don't need it, although we could go with a battle scanner. This makes it more likely for the chance to hit with beam weapons, which means they'd have a better chance of hitting missiles. Or we could throw jammers on them. Weapon targeting system missile guidance units. The effect is a high chance of missiles and torpedoes targeting the ship go astray. Missiles and torpedoes. I thought torpedoes couldn't be jammed. I guess they can be. So we could either give them some more hull, which would double their hull, and as they're going to be the front line, they probably will be targeted first, but I kind of like the idea of either going with like a battle scanner to increase their chance to hit, or the jammers to jam any missiles that come their way. That way they have kind of a two-front anti-missile spread. The battle scanner will be much cheaper. And this says it's targeting the ship, so if it's targeting the other ships, this won't work on them, I don't think. So let's go with the battle scanner. The battle scanner just helps generically up our ability to hit with our weapons. So we've got point defense mass drivers. These we're going to want facing any side so that they can just go crazy. There we go. And we can put 12 point defense mass drivers on them. It's still a very cheap ship, but it will serve as a nice little screen for the rest of our stuff. The fly, I think we did upgrade. We actually don't need to give them good armor. We want them to have the same drives. They don't actually need a shield, but I don't think you can turn it off. We could go battle pods with them to give them more bombs, and let's give them the best bombs that we have. We did that. Fusion bombs. No. I think our pulsar missiles are still better. 4.37 over the 2.5 of the torpedoes. Torpedoes exploding are not affected by jamming or point defense systems. Didn't that thing say that torpedoes was? That's weird. So fusion bombs are the best that we have. Let's just... There we go. 7 bombs into one little fly. Nice. Hold on, look at that again. High chance of missiles and torpedoes. Weird. So here is our little fly. And now we have a full up-to-date fleet with all of the kind of the best stuff that we have. 12,000 for our cruisers is quite nice. We could substitute one roach with 2 beetles, but and go 5 beetles, 5 ants, which would give us kind of more of a larger swarm fleet. But I like kind of the top-down configuration. The other way that we could do it is have a single destroyer, and then just like 13 little ants that have missiles, and just have just crazy swarms, which would be very cheap to do, but probably a little less effective. So let's go ahead and finish that. Now we've got 2 ants that can upgrade automatically, so let's go ahead and upgrade those 2. That's these guys up here. And then on Nephthys here, let's have him start building a roach. It's going to take 15 turns. These guys are beasts. But it's kind of what these guys do, right? So 28 production is a lot, but it's not going to be quite as good as when we get Alphar or the Lugia 3 up, because they're going to have the orbital shipyard, which will reduce it by another 25%, which will be very nice. We do have 2, so what we can do here is pull this beetle over here. Nope, I want the beetle. Nope, I want the beetle. And we could try to upgrade it, but you can see this thing is expensive. It's getting a lot of upgrades. So let's go ahead and do it. 1,000 credits. We're broke again. But now this beetle is almost 3,000 power on its own. And if we look at our path to victory here, that's boosted. Remember, we were down at like level 6. That has boosted us way up in excellence and conquest, because our fleet now is something to nothing to sneer at, as it is. So cool. So we've got our fleet design. Now we just got to build it. Like I said, I'm going to build the first fleet. It's going to be about 50. It's going to be 15 points worth of fleet, and then we'll look at building a second fleet a little bit later. And then I think we'll start doing our conquest of the Terran.
Why do I bother offering proposals when it's so much simpler to take what I want?
So see, now people are starting to get a little testy. They're going to keep asking us for money.
Your people zip through the galaxy, squirreling underfoot of the mighty, never aware of how close you are to being trampled.
I hope you know that we're going to kill you soon.
Oh well, I guess all things must come to an end.
So literally every race is going to do this turn. The Bulrathi already did it to us. The Sakura, didn't. The human didn't. Interesting. Last time I played through, literally, I had to go through that nonsense with every race on the same turn. It took forever. Okay. Space Factory finished a military outpost here. Alright. Let's head over here. And it will finish our last military outpost. Volusia 2 has grown. Fantastic. We'll let it keep growing. 3 has grown. We're going to start putting... I'm just going to start putting people, because 3 turns already. I'm just going to start putting people down here in production to get this production done a little bit quicker. And Alpha 5 has grown. They're already at maximum production for the planet. We can, once we get through doing a lot of this stuff here, we can get a terraforming in to help expand some of these tiles. A fleet needs orders. Oh. So, those are all done. Head over that way with the thing and cover that place. We'll go next turn. I feel like the scouts are realizing that the trap is being sent and they are trying to get out of it. Alpha Prime has grown. Alright, we'll leave you doing that. Tinnen has a starbase next. That's very good. Toxic processor, cloning center. Good deal. Obviously, our little space factories do not have the upgraded engines. You can see this thing made it in a single bound. Alright, so here is our little fly and beetle. There's the Bulrathi fleet. I'm not really interested in going through all that nonsense again, so I'm just going to send these guys back home. They'll get there soon enough, and then we can upgrade them. Hopefully, we'll have enough. We know we need about 1,000 or so for the beetle. We'll probably need another 300 maybe for the fly. The fly shouldn't be too much to upgrade. Whoops. Looks like they've just colonized another planet. Protus 2. Move our stuff. Threatening fleet. Is this stupid pirate again? Yes. Space elevator next in queue. Oh, our artificial gravity is done. That gives us the moon laboratory. We're going to go on to the next things on our quest to get gravity generators. Zucton 2, Tinnen Prime has grown. Hyades has grown. Alright, so you are just growing easy, so I'm just putting you here. I'm going to get rid of the soil enrichment. I'm thinking that we're not going to do soil enrichment on most of these places anymore. It's fairly expensive, and by the time the other stuff gets done, they're usually almost at max population anyways. What I am going to do with you, though, is get pollution under control fairly quickly. We'll get that. It is an ultra rich, so we are going to want some of this extra production. But I think I'm going to do this first. Well, no. I am going to get into the extra production. Yeah, I like where that's at. Cool. Tinnen Prime has grown. No kidding. So they're about to go full. They're already at Terran now, so they're about to go full crazy research. They don't have a moon though. That's one thing that we do want to do at this point. So we're going to want to look at, let's see, so Tinnen doesn't have a moon. Hamas, do you have a moon? You do not. These guys make us a lot of research. Koldan, you do have a moon. So a moon laboratory is going to be in your queue. We could build some of this stuff. So crest processing gives you base production. This is +1 per tile. But it's just so bad. Alright, we'll leave you there till you get your last population, and we'll leave you. Hyades has grown, which is a little bit crazy. I guess we can leave them on there for now. They're just terraforming, waiting patiently. We should get that queued up. Waiting patiently for gravity generators, which we will throw in there, and we might even buy, because this is going to be a really good, it's huge, so it's going to be a really good world for making ships and production once we can get it terraformed and gravity controlled. But that is going to have to do it for this episode. We're out of time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please tap that like button. It really helps me out, helps out the channel. And I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me some comments. And if you really loved it and want to see some more, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, I've been Jaylbayt. You guys live free, game hard.